Hello and welcome to the MJ Take on Sports Fan Entertainment. Here to talk about the biggest move in the 2017 NBA Draft, and that is Jimmy Butler being traded to the Minnesota Timberwolves. And everyone's initial reaction is this is a terrible deal for the Chicago Bulls, and that was my initial reaction as well. If you were watching my live stream last night, that was my initial reaction. But the more I think about it for the Bulls, this really isn't that bad. Now, I still wouldn't have done the deal. In fact, I would never even have thought about trading Jimmy Butler to begin with. I don't know why they're in love with this idea. They think that Jimmy Butler isn't a great leader, that he's not a great winner. But to me, this is a nice piece to have. If you tank next year, you're hoping to get someone as good as Jimmy Butler, to me. Maybe better, but if you get a Jimmy Butler next year, you'll be happy with that. So I would have constructed a roster that stunk everywhere outside of Jimmy Butler, won about 20 games next year, still had Jimmy Butler the year after that, and then build something. But they wanted to trade Butler, and in return, they're getting Zach LaVine. Okay, first, who, by the way, most of last season got over 20 points per game. Okay, this guy can score and score pretty efficiently, over 45% field goal percentage. I like that number. Freakish athleticism, and his three-point shot has been coming along nicely. This is a nice piece. They got Chris Dunn, who did not have a good rookie year, but this guy was very good at Providence. He was the third player on my big board last year, and he did well in the Summer League last year. Let's see what he can do in the Summer League this year, and then let's see what he can do in the regular season this year. But I still think he can start eventually. He was just way too talented to me at Providence and in the Summer League last year to be a complete bust. I think he still has potential. And then you traded up from 16 to 7 to take Lauri Markkanen. Now, I can't believe that you had to trade up. I can't believe you couldn't have just taken their number 7 pick and still kept your number 16 pick. But whatever. You took Markkanen, who I don't love, or Markkanen, sorry, who I don't love. I think he's going to start, but he's terrible defensively, and he could only be Frank Kaminsky. But he could be Dirk Nowitzki, or at least a poor man's Dirk Nowitzki. Now, how poor? We'll find out. But ideally, I mean, you can see a scenario where you just picked up 3 starters, 3 future starters, like at least 1 or 2 years down the road. All 3 of these guys could be starting. That's not bad. But for the Timberwolves, this is a great deal. As you add Jimmy Butler to the mix, and I don't expect Jimmy Butler to go anywhere. Again, he still has 2 years left on his deal, and as he was talking about as it pertained to the Chicago Bulls, he was willing to resign because the Bulls could offer him the most money. Now you guys can offer him the most money. Jimmy Butler just wants money. Good. If he's already on your team, you can re-sign him, no problem. That's why he resigned with the Bulls a couple years ago. So now the Timberwolves have that advantage. He's going to stick around. He's going to provide scoring and, more importantly, defense for the Timberwolves. Now, the interesting thing to me, Jimmy Butler, Andrew Wiggins, and Karl-Anthony Towns, they're going to have to figure out the distribution of shots and chemistry offensively. I don't think it's going to be very cohesive right off of the bat. They're all 20-plus point per game guys, and that didn't work that well last year for LaVine, Karl-Anthony Towns, and Andrew Wiggins. I felt when LaVine got injured late in the year, Wiggins and Towns really stepped up their game, and they had more chemistry. So look out for this chemistry mix between Butler, Karl-Anthony Towns, and Andrew Wiggins. I see some problems there. Thibodeau's the defensive coach. He won't help much with that. I'm not sure who on the Wolves coaching staff is an offensive coach to help with that. I see issues there. I think someone's going to have to take a bit of a step back. My preference would be Wiggins. I'd say Wiggins, don't go for 25. Go for maybe 20, maybe 18 and play better defense for us. Actually rebound more because he doesn't rebound well at all. That'd be what I would do. I would let Butler and Karl-Anthony Towns lead the way, but that'd just be me. We'll see what they do. But right now, obviously, you have to like this team. Now, I'm hesitant to say playoffs yet. They're close, but their bench is awful. They still need to improve there. They still have Gorgie Deng and Ricky Rubio starting. Not a big Rubio fan. Barely cracked 40% field goal percentage this season. Really inefficient in terms of scoring, but really great passer, as we know. Deng is okay. Not a great rebounder, but a guy that can average about 10 and 7 per year and give you a block a game. They have a bunch of guys like Tyus Jones and Adrian Payne who are young and can still develop, but to me, go out in free agency and sign some veterans. If they can do that, then sure, I'll put the Timberwolves in the playoffs, but it's not going to be that easy, right? The Blazers with Damian Lillard, CJ McCollum, they barely made the playoffs. So to me, I still need to see a little bit more. I understand why everyone's excited, but the chemistry is going to be a bit of an issue to me, at least initially. I think eventually they'll figure it out. And the bench is still bad. Okay, so they're going to have to prove that. And it just got worse as you just traded away Chris Dunn, who wasn't a huge bench contributor last year, but he did contribute. Okay, so look out for that. They added Justin Patton with the number 16 pick. That guy, to me, is not very good. He's not going to provide much scoring off the bench. Plus, he won't even play much because he's playing center behind Karl-Anthony Towns. So we'll see how everything develops when it comes to the Timberwolves, but this is a good deal for them, obviously. For the Bulls, it's not that bad. You're going to stink next season. LaVine's going to be your best player. You're going to have Chris Dunn. Hopefully he develops. Markkanen, hopefully he develops. And then after that, you'll see what happens next year as you tank horribly in 2017-18. So there you go. Those are my thoughts on the Chicago Bulls and Minnesota Timberwolves trade. What are your thoughts? Comment down below. I want to know. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, comment, and most importantly, to subscribe. And until next time, this has been the MJ Take on Sports Fan Entertainment. And I'm out. Peace.